What if you could make 1,200% return on investment literally in a couple of months just by learning this one little skill? You can kind of do part-time, from home, from your computer, from the beach, from the airport, from really anywhere in the world. My name is Jenny Baker, and I am the founder of Six Figure Trading Coach, and that's kind of what we're doing on this YouTube channel. For those of you guys who don't know, we have a nice little community of like-minded traders, and on this YouTube, where we have a ton of just experimental videos. So on these Tuesday nights, what we're doing is this 4-hour swing trading public experiment, if you will, to show people that trading is not as hard as they're making it, right? If they stop over trading, if they stop over leveraging, learn a couple of skills, you can actually make a boatload of return on investment. Like we see it on the news, we see, hey, 10% for Wall Street, and oh my gosh, Bitcoin dropped 20%. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are down 20% right now, right? We see this stuff all the time, so we know it's possible. We know you can beat the banks literally from the comfort of your own home, from literally anywhere you want to be in the world, but you have to learn the skill. So without further ado, we're going to review the trades we looked at 2 weeks ago. And then, of course, I've got a couple of more for you, but I have to lead with the introduction and do all the things. To start with, obviously, everything on this YouTube and anywhere else, don't take it as legal or investing advice. I mean, pretty simple. It's your money. Take ownership of that. So don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Make good decisions, right? Pretty simple. I don't care whether you're getting the trade from a YouTube, from a Discord, from a Telegram, from some guru, from, some dream. I don't care. Point is, please, please, please make sure that you're self-managing, you're self-protecting, you're moving your stop loss, you're having some form of trail or scale or something, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your future, it's your life. So that's the disclaimer. Brokers, we know that the SEC is on a rampage. The entire financial markets are just all over the place, right? With that said, I'm maintaining the relationships to all the brokers that I have in my link tree. So my major ones right now are AFX, LQD. I'm actually pretty impressed because Hero is now offering like Apple Pay and credit card, debit card, and a whole host of other, the Google Pay, I'm pretty sure. Please check, don't quote me. But they have some really authentic ways to pay, which I think is awesome. It's going to save me a fortune in terms of in and out of crypto feeds, right? I'm really, really excited. I can't say I've tried it yet. I just know I've been with them for a while, always doing crypto in and out. So really excited. Never had a problem with withdrawal or anything thus far. I just hate paying the fees to the cryptos. So we shall see what happens there. But either way, we know a lot of brokers have shut down U.S. citizens. We know a lot of brokers have had all kinds of messes. So please make sure you do your due diligence. Keep a little bit of money in each one of those brokers because it allows you to be grandfathered in if and when they close its doors to Americans now based off of certain rules and parameters. We have no idea what's coming down the hatch. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm positioned well in between all of this mess because we know it's also been happening across the board with prop firms. So that's on that. And of course, last but not least, pip counts. Please take it with a grain of salt. From broker to broker, country to country, currency to currency, this stuff varies. You don't need me to tell you that. Please don't be so caught up in the minutia that you get lost in the little things. I mean, we're looking at measured moves. We're looking at percentages, of a move. That's all we're looking at. How we measure that from broker to broker is going to be a little bit different. Overall, you're still looking at the, direction in general, so you guys get the whole idea. But before we go look at the trade ideas we have, let's see how we fared. Okay, I can live with this view. Let me try to clean it up a little bit, a baby bit. This is how we fared since 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. As you guys can see, we've got about 16,000 pips. Yes, I know it's a little bit lopsided because of that U.S. Mexican and then one index or two indexes. But you guys get the idea. Overall, we're never looking at a single winner or loser or pip count. We're looking at the basket of trades. So I'm going to not maybe be able to zoom in as much as I want to, but let's take a really good breakdown. 2 Tuesdays ago, we looked at these two trades. I'm still honestly waiting for EuroCAD. I have probably taken maybe 6 or so entries, and I still have my original entry as well. I've scaled out, trailed out, re-entered upon pullback. I've done all the things, right? I've done my part. I do believe that we have some more room to the upside, so if you're in this or thinking about being in it, please do look at this structure. It's respecting on the daily. Needless to say, for the purposes of this video, we're done counting it in terms of pip counts and whatever. Remember, how I'm managing is predefined. You don't get to say, well, she didn't tell me, or I didn't know, or I didn't achieve comparable results. if you follow what I'm posting on these YouTubes and you do it, demo account, paper trading, Monopoly Money, doesn't matter, right? You should be accomplishing comparable results. Your stop loss is its structure, which in my case is a couple of fractals back. That's going to be up to you. I like mine a little bit looser, giving it room to breathe. I don't like being choked out of an accurate trade. I'm always protecting within about 1 ATR. For those of you guys unfamiliar with ATR, we're saying about 25 to 50 pips. Because these are 4-hour trade analysis, Scott told me the word this morning and now I can't remember it, but analysis, right, of some fancy dancy word, I would rather it be 50 pips, but not everybody's very comfortable with the ATR. So for that reason, some pairs obviously have a really small movement per day, so we're going to keep it at about 25 pips. We're saying, hey, when we say we're looking for this to buy or sell, and the price has moved 25 pips in your favor, 25 to 50, or 1 ATR on the 4-hour time frame, you're protecting. The method you use to protect is up to you. You can scale out of a portion, you can lock your profit, you can apply a trail, you can close the whole darn thing. Totally 100% up to you, but that's when, for me, I'm deciding that management is crucial. So for you, you guys are ultimately going to get to decide that as well. But those are the 2 trades we looked at 2 weeks ago. USD-CHF was perfect, although this one also had a few week period prior to this moment that it was kind of sitting still. It's kind of where we're sitting with EuroCAD. And tonight we're going to go take a look at these 2 pairs as well. Super excited. In our morning classes, we have a perfect record. I would love to, knock on wood. I've got a glass desktop. I don't get as excited about this as I should because in my world, I know whether you have a 5-week or a 3-week period of no losses, it just means your losses are going to get scattered somewhere else. That's all. They're going to come. Like the law of averages is coming through. You're not escaping from that. So to start trading as if you're invincible, I think is a really foolish errand. But needless to say, we are 6,000 pips up. Have had some great trades. We're still waiting on a little bit more of a few other moves. And ultimately, I'm excited. But back to the 4-hour before we move on. I mentioned at the beginning of this video, what if you could get 1,200%? That's a lot, right? It's a lot. And it's not going to happen in a single trade. A lot of people want it to. But what if you could get 1,200% on your original starting balance, right? That's if you were starting with a 500 and you were risking 5%. You'd be around here by the end of this 57 trades. You started with 1,000, you were risking 5%. You'd potentially be approximately here had you caught all of the winner and all of the loser, 100%. So figure even if you failed this, whoopsie, I broke it. Hold on. Even if you failed this by 50%, you're still made $50,000 in 5 hours. 5 hours of, video time, maybe 10 hours altogether because you probably looked at it a few times throughout the week. You still made $50,000 in about 10 hours with $1,000 investment. So that's not bad. 5,000, you guys get the idea, and of course 10,000, that's incredible, right? That's all possible. Notice how we're not taking too many trades. It's very reasonable. It's very possible. Don't forget you can also take more entries along the way on some of these more long-term swing moves. I mean, there's so many different elements that really can work in your favor. But again, we started this video saying, what if you could make 1,200%? So before I started recording, I was just looking at this. I geek out. I used to joke all the time. My family used to joke with me that my spreadsheets were like a video game to me because I would just spend time clicking through and going, what if, right? Even my bill pay spreadsheet, like when I was, younger, starting out, I had this bill pay spreadsheet that I counted for everything that we did in and out of the household so I could be on top of things and I could grow and whatever, or survive even. I love spreadsheets and I'm sitting here and I'm playing with this, right? And I'm like, okay, I wish people would realize we took 56, 57-ish trades, 2 to 4 trades a week, every other week. Again, doesn't take very much time. Not even risking a whole percent, not risking a whole bunch. We know documented, we averaged about, in this case, 88% accuracy. I'm kind of falling there a lot, honestly. I want my 91 back, but again, law of averages is going to come through. So we're averaging 88%. We're averaging 2.86 to 1 real, achieved risk to reward, okay, in terms of what we've actually done overall. Well, this is achieved. This is total risk. So overall beautiful, right? If we take those numbers and we apply them to this Monte Carlo spreadsheet and say, hey, I have $1,000 starting balance. I'm risking 3% per trade. By the way, that's high. Very high. My accuracy is 88%. And look, I've even cut this down by a lot. Okay, I don't know, what's that, 30-ish%? I'm only averaging 1.75 to 1. And we just showed you we're averaging, 2.7 or 3.7 to 1 on average, right? So much, much higher. Do you realize this is a little bit more than 56. This is 72 trades. But that has a return of almost 1,200%. And it just depends on where your wins and losses fall, of whether or not you'll achieve this or close to this. So to give you an idea, I'm going to continue functioning with this, and I'm just going to keep doing it. So if my accuracy tends to be a little bit higher because of where the wins and losses fall, right, that's all. So all it's doing is randomizing the order in which your wins and losses come. I have made over 1,200%. That's crazy, right? And we hear in the news that this is impossible. We hear in the news that Wall Street did this and this company's done this, and only if you join the, invest into the meta stock and AMC and blah, 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 are you going to ever be able to make this, Kathy Woods and these 4 electronic stocks, that you desperately need, blah, 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 blah. The whole world is going into the crypto ETFs, and I wish people knew you can diversify, you can day trade, you can do so many amazing, incredible things, still achieving ridiculous, just absolute out of this world results if you learn the skill of actual technical analysis. So you can trade no matter what the pair, the instrument, the stock, the ETF, no matter what it is, you'll be able to trade it in a systematic way that even though the stock has went up or down, or the ETF has went up or down since release, right? That's fine. You can still be up a total of, 2,000-3,000% in that year on that one instrument if you learn how to actually do technical analysis. So I'm going to stop harping on that. We're going to go ahead and go over to the charts. Remember, we said there were two pairs that we're looking at. So we're closing out of those 2, all documented, all recorded live on YouTube. And of course, these are the 2 that we're looking at. So take a look, really study this. Think about what's possible. All management is already predefined, not subjective. So let's go see what we can do. Okay, we're back at the charts, and trades like this are the perfect ones to go make that 1,200%, literally. Obviously, that's the perfect timing. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you get stuck into this and you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my mind for 2 whole weeks, and people do. But is it worth being right 80-90% of the time to have some patience, right? And sometimes your swaps are too high. It's not cost effective. I get it. But you've got to put a plan in motion that says it's worth it. So this was USD Chef. We looked at this. I think this is from the hour before the 4-hour candle prior to me recording. Remember, we always mark up from the candle prior to the one we're on. In total, this has moved, 208, 209-ish pips. Not a bad way to be. As you guys can see, it took off, pulled down, never really came very far at all, and it's just been performing beautifully. I am going to go ahead and clear the well before I clear the board. Kind of nice, exactly where we ended up. Where we consolidated, we called that through and through. I do want to minimize and show you. I'm looking for this reaction, which we already knew we were going to get one. So I don't mind the spiky, spicy stuff. We talked about it in our morning class a few weeks ago. But overall, I don't mind the spring and the sweep to the upside. I want a bit of a pullback. I'm still looking for a longer term buy. I still think this has some more upside potential. So for those of y'all who have eyes to see, I'm not saying it's time now. I'm saying it's worth taking a look at and considering for the future. Unless you're a reversal trader, then of course, by all means, look for your reversal. So we're taking that off our watch list. As you guys can see now, it's no longer highlighted. The next one on our list from last week, man, this baby. We talked about it. Again, 2 weeks ago, we talked about, I wasn't looking for a whole bunch. I wanted to at least come into here. And we have. We've come close. So this is where we were sitting. You can see by our green line. Didn't quite come up to that 100-ish, 30 pips we were looking for. We got 83, give or take, 89. We have still really been respecting this structure. So I know overall it's a frustrating trade. We, again, pushed down. We broke some fractals. Overall, we're still respecting it. So I'm still looking for this to potentially buy up when and if we confirm. I would no longer be looking for the buy entry without at least, a smaller time frame. Think between the 5 and the 1 hour confirmation. Otherwise, we did get our pips according to the predefined management rules we've already discussed. We've got them, we're happy, and we're going to move on, right? Sometimes you get traders fatigue from all kinds of different reasons. Sometimes it's just that pair that's on your last nerve, right? Happens all the time. Even to me. Not as much. I've gotten much more self-disciplined, at least in that area of my life. But it does happen to me still. So, you guys can see those 2 are no longer highlighted. We've got 2 more. So 2 trade ideas for tonight. 2 free public 4-hour trade ideas. This actually we went over in class this morning as well. I like odd USD too, but it's moved a lot more. We've got our impulse. We missed a big spicy portion. Now, of course, we're already pulling back up. Here was our 4-hour trade idea, according to the actual golden strategy. This is the strategy that I've done the most with over the last 5 years. It's still my bread and butter. It's what we use in the mornings, even though we just released a whole bunch. I'm talking an insane amount of tools. We released several different whole systems, equity managers. We've got a couple of EAs coming out in a week or so. Copier service that's coming out also, attached to anybody who's on the Six Figure Trading Coach members area of Discord, right? You can find that on Patreon. The Patreon's in the link tree. First one is for a free community if you just want a safe place to hang out with other traders and talk about charts, talk about cryptos and coins that are dropping. Don't spam, don't pitch. Okay, no sales pitches. But otherwise, join that free like-minded community. And of course, if you want all the tools, live classes, EAs, copiers, join the paid community. All that information is in the link tree. You can find that in the description below. But before I finish, GU, again, I want to say I like the beautiful drop. We've pulled back up. So this is the 4-hour time frame. We're always dropping our vertical line on the candle prior to the one that we're on. Notice how there's 3 hours left on this candle. So this one's going to be a little subjective to differentiate in the future, right? So literally, I'm going to drop my vertical line. I'm going to make this red. Excuse my lisp. I wish I could, well, I'm going to say accent. Accent sounds better. Okay, accent. Stutter. Any of those words. Those are very accurate. But I'm making red. Perforated line. Okay? GU. Looking for the sell. I am going to pop to a smaller time frame because I want this vertical line a little bit closer to where we actually are. So it's going to be a little off. Beautiful pull back up. I wouldn't be surprised to see this make a little bit more of a retracement. Right now, we're still respecting the smaller time frame trend line. But overall, I'm not just looking at the baby picture. So if you want that super tighter sniper stuff, you do you. For me, I want peace and profits. Peace and profits. Peace and profits. That's all I care about. I don't want to be the person who's hyperventilating, hypervigilantly staring at my chart, wondering, well, if this pulls up, I can get an extra 10 pips, or this, I can reduce my R to R by, X percentage. That is fun for a short period of time. I think it's hard to sustain over a long period of time. And I know people who have made a killing but can't sustain it, right? They end up losing it all. They end up giving it all back and going back to work level. They did so good, they walked away from their job. But now they couldn't sustain it, so they went back to their job. So with that in mind, that's my method. It doesn't have to be yours. GU, looking for the sell. I'm going to place my pending order here. I already have another order all the way in and around here. What else? Back to the 4-hour time frame. Where am I looking for this to go? I'm going to have to zoom out to make it kind of ugly. Ugly. So we're literally activating now. I'm looking to get the measured move and pay for all of this. So my first area that I'm looking for that reaction is going to be, and I usually do white for trend lines, blue for projections. I try to stay consistent with the stuff I draw on my chart. This way everybody else who sees it knows what it was referencing, and so when I see it, I know what it was referencing. Depending on how we act and respond in this area, if we're breaking through and retesting, if we're wicking to it and rejecting over and over and over again, okay? If we steam to it or if we edge to it, it's going to change the decision I make when price gets in around this point. Otherwise, I'm looking to get a substantially bigger amount on this trade. So overall, beautiful, not a bad way to be. Makes for the risk reward to be pretty good. I'm never targeting the bottom. I'm targeting just before that bottom. So figure 1.2503. 125.203. 125.203 is really where I'm looking to see us react around. So that's GU. Not too shabby. Looking for the sell. Average risk reward on that, even to the smaller target, is probably going to be somewhere around a 2 to 1. Makes for a great trade, right? As you continue to hold more, you also have the option to not only, you should be locking as you hit 25 to 50 pips. Notice the 4-hour ATR on this is only 33. So 25 to 50 pips is a good target, right? But you can also, as you pull back on the 5 or 15 or 30, if you are actively trading, take additional entries only when your first ones are locked, scaled, or trailed, but take another entry. Because if your overall risk, let's say, is 3 to 5% or whatever, you've closed out of a portion and now we've pulled back. So you've closed out of 3%, you've only got 2% running. You can take another 3%, managing the same way, and let that go down. You've automatically scaled out or done it manually. We've pulled back. you get in at another 3%. So your total gain on this can be 3 to 4 times what you would have thought it was if you learn to do that, a little bit of finagling with your management. But that's GU. Last but not least is NZDCHF. I was totally checking this out before session crossover. And then this, like literally as I was looking at it, I have to go all the way down. I'm going to have to. Literally as I was looking at it, the spreads were going crazy, but it was still beautiful. So nice little doji, nice wick to the downside. I'm going to go ahead and drop this on the candle prior to the one that we're on. That's a pretty fat spread even for this broker. Okay, that's a huge spread. That's expensive. So unfortunately, to stay true to form, I'm going to have to put this all the way up here, which is 7 pips away, mind you. Almost. 7 pips away. All the way in there. So I'm looking for an active entry on NZDCHF. In the buyer's direction, all the way up to the 4-hour. We don't have our 4-hour painted yet for the golden strategy. I knew it would be a little bit lagging, so it's probably not going to come into the following candle. I still love this overall structure. Notice that the 4-hour ATR on this is only about 17 pips. So I'm imploring you, please make sure you lock scale or trail. Because if you're right, you're going to get the rest of it and you could take a reentry. But if you're wrong, okay, which will happen, 10 to 20% of the time, just to include some variance, then cool, you're only losing 50% as much as you would have because you've scaled out of something, right? It's a great way to be. You can quadruple down on all your winners and half your losses. Do the math. That's life-changing. That's your 1,200% right there. 1,200% in a matter of months. Literally a couple of hours a week. A couple of hours a month, more accurately. But either way. NZD, looking for the buy. Green perforated line. Candle prior to the one that we're on. What are we looking for this to go? I'm going to zoom out, make it kind of ugly. Ugly. So from where price is currently sitting, going to have to eat that spread or wait for a pullback, unfortunately. I'm looking for price to come into here. To give you an idea, that is 89 pips. That's what, 4 ATR? A little over than 4 ATR? That's only 11 pips. Oh, not 17. 11. No, it's 17. The value is 11. Sorry. So yes, this is more expensive too than the GU, for example. It's more valuable per pip than GU. So your lot size in theory should be a little smaller if you're trading by percent and not flat lot sizes. Somehow no one seems to talk about that. But either way, looking to see how price reacts here. We've got this huge area all the way across. I want to see what price does in this zone. I'm anticipating some wicking, some sweeping, but I want to see if we're breaking above it, retest, and continue, or if we're coming up to it, making the sweep to just stay down and consolidate some more. But mind you, we've been in this little area for, gosh, that started in August of 23. We popped up October. This is likely the end of October. We've stayed really still for, in this range for now 2 months, give or take. We're halfway through January. So that's a long time to have stayed in this month. We're going to make a breakout. Can't guarantee it's to the upside, okay? But we do have our golden strategy on our side. We are breaking above the 50. I'd like to see us break above this next fractal and at least come into this range. As we break this range, I want to see where we're going beyond that. Are we finally going to give back some of these chef pairs? We've seen it on a couple of other pairs. Are we going to come up into this range, which is what I'm looking for? This will be your 8 to 1, your 9 to 1, your 10 to 1, but you don't need that. You need healthy management along the way, and you can take 3-4 entries on this move if and when we get to here and you get the confirmation and you pull back to get to here. You can take more entries. You have lots of ways to do this. So that's all I've got in terms of trade ideas for this evening. I'm trying to cut back on how many, because the more I get an opportunity to work with great people, the more I realize it's not the lack of opportunity on the charts. It's the lack of discipline. It's the lack of, sticking with your 2 trades you did take. Some weeks they're going to be amazing. Some weeks these are going to be the ones that did this, okay? But if you trust your overall system from week to week to week to week, you're still going to be immensely profitable. Because everybody wants to celebrate those quick wins. Everybody wants to condemn those drawdowns. Nobody wants to sit through the balance of both for the whole period of 6 months to see what that can equal you. And then we don't get to control which times does what. So for that reason, I'm not going to be sending out, 4 or 5 trades on a public video, 4 or 5 in the morning, 4 or 5 on Thursday, 4 or 5 here. It's just too many. My recommendation would be to just be in a handful of Forex trades, maybe one index if that's your thing. 2, if you have the equity. Obviously, you can diversify between different accounts, but stop over trading. Hone in on really good setups and being patient with those setups, which might equal hours, it might equal days. If you're trading from the 4-hour time frame, it could equal weeks. So just know that, accept it, and live to profit another day. But that's all I've got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and do all the things that help YouTube do the things that, make this video go further. So we are building our community. It's going really well. I'm super geeked out and excited. We've got a great team of people working on Discord, doing some stuff on the site. EAs, oh my gosh, like mind-blowing. Just a whole bunch of ways to help people. So I'm super excited and grateful for the whole team. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Take care and God bless.